So there was a time where I had a very serious crack addiction. During that crack addiction, there wasn't anything that I wouldn't do to get it except uh, sexual immortality. That's what I'd say. There would never be none of that. It would get real serious before that would ever happen. So during this time, if I wanted it and I couldn't get it, I was gonna find a way. Um, and I hurt and involved a lot of people in that. And one of those people was my child, my first child. You know, he was about a year old. Um, I had already robbed this kid one time. I caught him again. I convinced him that I needed his money to get my script out, and he had some pushback. He kept telling me he had a handgun and all this. I wasn't really worried about that. I told him that, but I just buttered him up and finessed him, and he agreed. I went and picked him up. He lives on a back road, very windy, power lines, and I unbuckled my son's car seat. Is what I did, as wrong as that is, and I put the pipe wrench under his car seat. And when we got down the street, I told him, I said, oh no, my son's car seat is unbuckled. Um, and he was like, oh, I'll get out and get it. And I'm like, no, you won't. So I went around to the side of the Jeep, and I got the pipe wrench and I told him to kick it out, And he did. He was like, you really going to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm really going to do this. He gave me $100. He asked me to take him home. I told him no. And I left him there. I took my son to my grandparents and I went and did what I did best. I went and got high. Um, you know, Honestly, it took a lot for me to say that. And I feel a little better now that I did get that off my chest. You know, I feel like it's only right for me to get on here and talk about the true inside of addiction, the true raw inside of addiction, the things that it will cause you to do. That's what's important. Too many people, I get why, but too many people will beat around the bush a little bit because they're worried about being judged by their stories and stuff. That's not helping anybody, bro. You've got to get down to the nitty gritty. You've got to get raw. Um, there's got to be a wow factor. If there's not, nobody's going to stop using. Or if, somebody who isn't using yet and they're like debating if they're going to go down this road, they're going to be like, oh, well, that don't sound too bad. You got to let people know where this will take you. And there's a lot of people who will watch this who have probably done similar things, whether they admit it or not. Um, so I've asked God forgiveness for this. This has been years and years and years now. It's been a very long time ago. But this particular person, it happened 2, 3 times. I have 3 separate stories that I don't really want to get into because that's not what it's about. But, that's a lot of karma that I had to come back and deal with, and I believe I paid for that. I've been through a lot in my life. But you guys have a good day. I hope that, I gave some people awareness, some motivation, some strength. That's what I'm here for. You guys keep watching. Thank you.